Okay, welcome to the 6th episode of This Week on Monstercat, the podcast where we talk about Monstercat with very few people and for a very short amount of time this week, because we've only got a Pete and a Mika, and there's no Xavier's and no Jake's this week. It's very lonely.
We don't know where Jake's gone. He said he
like,
was all cool
he
and
said
he
he
was
was
be here, and
then
just nowhere to be found.
I don't know.
At
he's
least
doing America
Xavier
things.
gave us some warning.
Maybe
That's nice.
Maybe he got shot. He probably got shot. Like, that's
like Friday at school before he got home? That was his school shooting.
Wow. Geez, second school I wanted to avoid making a joke about that 30 seconds into the podcast. But I guess
You gotta have
alright, so this
high standards.
Yeah, this episode's probably going to be the shittest episode ever, because one, there's only 2 hours, and 2, we can probably not go more than 45 minutes, because I've got people coming home in 45 minutes, so it's going to be real loud, lots of background noise, not the shit you want when you're doing a podcast. So we're going to get right into it with the first track that we're going to be talking about today, which,
into the tracks.
if I could scroll up faster, is Rare by Going Quantum and Psychic Type.
Precisely.
And I really like some of Going Quantum's work. Also Full Grizzly, that's good.
Yes.
Full Grizzly is really good.
And Raw is fucking...
Raw is so good. And so I had high hopes.
Hello is not good.
Hello is
but,
not good. No.
It's one. That song was one, so you know, what can you say?
But, so I had high hopes, because I was thinking, it's trap, and Raw is trap, and
yeah,
this Psychic Type, and he's pretty cool. And
I think my biggest problem with this song is the fact that I was thinking of, I was hoping for Raw levels of good. If I wasn't hoping for something like that,
to
maybe
me,
I would have liked it more.
But not that good, but it's still really, really cool. It's one of those trap songs where sort of it has a bit of a mix between future bass and trap. Like, everything that isn't the drop sort of does feel quite future bass, because it has the overall lighter feel, and it has
all the brassy
vocal
sounds.
chops.
Because that stuff.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
Things,
well, that's sort of... I'm more just thinking the intro and outro is a bit like that. The mid isn't so much. But yeah, the track...
The very start of the song's really cool. It sounds like a Nintendo console starting up.
Yeah,
they all have their little console starting up music.
Yeah.
And considering, I think that's kind of what Psychic Type does, because I've heard some of their other stuff. It's all, Pokemon-y, kind of, it's kind of got the same kind of feel that Tokyo Machine has, where it's got really nice, happy little 8-bit intros, and then the actual drops are not that at all. They're more the heavy kind of. Whereas Tokyo Machine makes bass house kind of stuff. Psychic Type's kind of more towards the trap side of things.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Mm.
Better than Hazard Potions, who doesn't change that at all and just stays Pokemon 24/7.
Yeah. And so, like Pete was saying, it has those really cool anti-hero type brass bits, which are they come in the build-ups a lot, and they're in a couple of the breakdowns, and they're a really good touch. And I should probably hate the vocal chop which is in this song, like the If I Could Find You vocal chop.
Yeah.
Because it's high pitched, it's normally the thing that I really hate, but here I just like it for some reason. And I especially like when it goes deeper around the drop, that's cool.
I wrote, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I kind of don't really care either way, it's
this song, the 808s, they're definitely on point. It's in that sense, it's very aero chordy. It's got that deep backing bass, which you would like to have in a trap song. And on the topic of aero chord, it's kind of funny how all the best trap songs on this album have been not made by aero chord, who's released 5 songs on this album. But
love trap, which I still don't understand what the hell that means, but
it's like future. It's just future bass, right?
Yeah.
So each of the drops of the song, I really like them. The first drop is a bit slower.
It gets into the action quickly. It's 50 seconds in, and maybe that's not as quickly as some other songs, but just coming off writing my reviews for Project 46, anything that's less than 2 minutes to get to a drop is really quite a relief. You'll be seeing that video soon enough, guys.
Yeah.
And if you like Project 46, don't watch it.
Because only not. So the drop,
Anyway.
it sort of has this really sharp, hard melody that reminds me,
Yeah.
it reminds me of, I don't know, it's a very trap sound,
I
but it
don't
has
know
some,
why. It doesn't even sound like most of his other stuff, but it does sound really going quantum to me. I have no idea why, because his other stuff doesn't
yeah,
sound like that, but it just feels like, yeah, I see it. I see what's
yeah,
going on here. The
yeah.
melody itself isn't all that interesting,
No,
though,
it's not
if
that
you ask
special,
me.
but the way it's executed is pretty cool.
I think it's
Um,
one of those songs where the stuff surrounding it is
yeah.
what really
Well, we're
makes
going
it
to be
cool.
talking about stuff surrounding later on a lot with one of the later tracks, but so yeah, this drop has some pretty damn good backing basses.
All those
And
brass as well.
yeah, it has the brass stuff. It has the 808s. It
Got some
has the
subtle. It's
trap
got some
beats.
subtle wobby stuff in there as well. Not
Yeah, I
like
noticed
super
that.
wobby, but
Yeah, those
it's
basses are
nice.
great.
Yeah.
And it has like these tiny little breaks that remind me of Topi a bit, of these basses that sort of they have that
That's not a
industrial
bad.
sound, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And there's just a whole bunch of really cool little things in both the drops. Such as like police siren is, I don't think it is a siren, but there's this little
I'm
thing
pretty
which
sure
makes
there
me
is
think of a siren.
actually. It doesn't sound like a siren. It sounds more like an alarm.
An alarm. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's really really cool. And so yeah, that's the first drop. The breakdown between the first and the second drop,
The
it's
aftermath
it's
is
really good.
the first bit, like the just aftermath bit. It's a bit.
It's not that
it's
great.
all right. It's it's
But
just
once
more
it
of the
starts
melody.
getting into the
It
proper breakdown,
I just
yeah,
love the bit where it just completely fades and
yeah,
then comes back with like the brass and shit like that.
it's
Like
really cool.
it's like I didn't like the first drop build up that much, but I feel like I just like this one more just because it sets the
Mm.
atmosphere better. And
Yeah, it
even though
does.
they're really similar, I just kind of feel like there's more drive behind it the second
Yeah.
time through.
Yeah,
But anyway,
in the
continue.
breakdown, the 808s and the brass and the basses and everything, it's really on point. It sounds great. The second build up, like you're saying, it's good. It's pretty good. It does a good job of
I really
building
like.
hype. It's a good, like, it does what build up should do. It's fast. It doesn't last more than a couple seconds. It builds hype really quickly and sort of takes the song from a low point to a high point quite
Project
smoothly.
46 could learn a thing about that.
He could, yeah. And the second drop is just insane.
Much better.
Yeah, I like the first drop, and I love this drop. It's kind of similar to the first. It's just way higher pitched. And it can almost
There's
get
also more
squealy
to
at
it
points.
because it's got like
Yeah,
two
it's sort of got
parts
two
to
parts.
it as well.
Yeah. It's almost squealy at points, and the drop, it, like you were saying, it swaps between these two parts. It has this smoother, high-pitched bass bit at the
very
start.
trappy kind of thing.
Very cool.
I like that bit quite a lot.
And then it has this almost heist-like metallic sounding bass, which is for the other side of this drop, which is sort of swaps between.
I don't like that one as much.
I like it a lot. It reminds me a bit of Heist. It reminds me a bit of Nemesis last week. I reckon this whole drop is pretty awesome. It has all those little bits I was talking about earlier. That little siren thing. It has has
I'm
those
not
little
sure if this is
bass
actually
house
true,
things.
but I feel like this drop lasts longer than the first one does.
I'm not sure. I wasn't really listening for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I reckon this drop's really really good, and I think you could agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a nice little touch I found in the song is there's all these tiny little bass house notes that are thrown around the song, and that's really really cool. And yeah, so we'll be quick. It's not as good as Raw, and it doesn't quite have.
It's got a very abrupt ending.
It does,
like,
yeah.
Which not like super abrupt. Like here's the drop, song's over. It's still like 20 seconds long of ending, but compared to a lot of songs, it's definitely not too bad. I genuinely, when I'm saying this, all this stuff right now, I genuinely think I'm just saying it's pretty abrupt because I'm just comparing it to all I've been having to listen to for like the last 2 days, which is songs that take like a minute and a half.
Yeah, like
end.
Limitless and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
but
fucked my perspective on things.
Like we were saying, it's not as good as Raw. It doesn't have like the purity that Raw has. Raw, to me, it has this very pure sound that is just, it's trap. It's just 100% trap. And it's very, very confident, sort of. This song, it's a little bit less so. It's more of a mix between future bass and trap. But it's still really awesome. It has some really cool stuff in it. It's definitely one of those trap songs that sort of pumps you up. Yeah.
And, I just said overall, in my opinion, I'm sure you might not agree, but I think it's kind of like the same level as, Over You and Silence and stuff. Like, it's good. I like all those songs. It's just not outstanding,
Yeah, yeah. So,
Fits
we're
on
gonna
for
move on
me.
to the next track because we need to get through this quite quick. Words by Faint. And I'll just start
Featuring
off
Laura Brem.
featuring Laura Brem.
Mm,
You don't like Laura Brem in this song?
not in this song, not at all.
Oh, I
Do
like
not
her a
like the
lot in this
vocals.
song. I
No,
really do.
didn't
But
expect you to say that.
yeah, I didn't either.
It's the worst bit of the
um,
song.
the best bit of the song. But I'll just talk about it for a little bit. I love Faint a lot. And
I
recently
love Old Faint.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Recently, he's been letting me down. Like within the last 2 years, almost all of his music has been that healthy side of DMB, which is just really bad 95% of the time. Um, what I loved about Faint so much was basically everything from Phosphor and behind. Um, especially his stuff around like when was it? 13 and behind, maybe? Like when he still had that really heavy sound, like with Fury and Snake Eyes, and
Yeah.
like that stuff is just some of my favorite Monstercat. But recently he's been letting me down a lot. And this song is probably the best of his recent stuff, I'd say, in my opinion. It does have that housey DMB sound, but it's not as much as his more recent stuff. It's not as bad as like I know you like We Won't Be Alone, and I don't think it's bad,
Yeah.
but that song is way too much on the side of housey DMB for me.
It's just my
It
problem
does,
with All Faint recently, which is even though I like We Won't Be Alone, it's apparent with that, and it's apparent with this song as well. Faint, one of my favorite parts about him was he never really used the DMB beat. He would always have something
yeah,
similar, but he would put his own kind of twist on it, which would be different between his songs. And that was one of the
yeah,
best parts. It was DMB, but it was different, and a lot of the time it was a lot faster. It felt a lot faster as a
yeah,
result of
and it
that.
wasn't on
But
as much
this
of a repeated loop.
yeah, and
But
these
recently, his
recent
stuff has
songs, he
been
just used the normal DMB beat. It
yeah.
feels like he's going backwards.
Well, he did make 15 songs last year, so
Yeah,
he's just been like pumping them out like
I
crazy.
know.
He's sort of turned into the Hellberg of DMB, which is
He
like
has.
not what
It's
you
a
want
good
at all.
comparison.
Um, but like I said, this is probably the best of his housey tracks by quite a margin. I think, in my opinion, it's way better than anything he's released in the last 2 years.
I think he can still make good chill DMB because there's a few songs that I've heard from recently that are actually from him, a couple that are actually quite chill and are really nice because of that. Especially
Yeah.
one with 2/3. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really nice. It's
Mm.
really, really nice. I
I,
still feel
I,
like he can do chill stuff if he wants to, but the housey stuff is just nah.
yeah. I find myself quite disappointed with him recently. But
For sure.
I reckon the vocals in this song are really, really nice, especially in the breakdown. In the sort of it has your intro, which is quite laid back, and then it has the bit before the drop, the breakdown, and the bit between the drops, the breakdown, which are quite intense. They're not as heavy as parts of the drop, but they have a lot of instrumentals. And the vocals are over them, and I love that. I reckon those bits are really, really good. And it also has that sort of that feel which Pressure had in the vocals occasionally, where she sounds like it's not just her singing; it sounds like she's singing
Yeah.
with someone else. It's not done as well as it is in Pressure, because Pressure
No.
probably has some of the best vocals on the label, but it's still really nice, and I really like that.
It's just I think the thing with the vocals in this song, and it's like Xavier said it ages ago, and I didn't agree with him at the time, but I'm really starting to get sick of Laura Brom's vocals now.
Yeah,
Been on
I
so
think
many songs that it's just like,
yeah.
nah, I'm
When
done.
her voice can sound really nice sometimes, like when her voice sounds sort of delicate and whispery, sort of in the same way Vila can do it, is really, really nice.
yeah. I just don't like it
Um,
when she gets really loud and
yeah,
sounds
like in
desperate and
Summer
stuff
Never
like that.
Ends or this song or
And yeah, exactly.
We Won't Be Alone. I
I
don't
don't
like her
like
vocals that much.
I like her
Um,
vocals in that
One
one. Okay.
example of her vocals, well, probably actually her best vocals that I can think of, Pure Sunlight. I think that's Laura
definitely one
Graham's
of the
highest
best
point.
ones.
That song is just so good. AGN03 is incredible.
Ghost Spores is another good one.
Oh,
well.
yes,
It's
definitely.
very
I
good
always
in
forget that song.
It's so
But
good.
yeah, to me,
No, all I see, vocal highlight, Laura Brown right there.
Fuck my life. The intros and the breakdowns and the midsections of the song are really, really nice. They have a great mix of guitar, strings, and vocals, along with some, like, the best beats in the song are all in the breakdowns.
Yeah, it's got that kind of, I know exactly the bit you're talking about. It's got that, I don't know how to describe it.
It's much more reverb heavy.
Yeah.
Beat. It's very nice. And the intro with the guitar is pretty good as well.
Yeah, definitely. Most of my comments here, the intro is nice, all the backing is nice, I just don't like the vocals.
One small issue with this song, which it's dumb and it's small and doesn't really get on my nerves, but it has that stock footage, hey, vocal chop sort of thing, which we talked about that last week in Hey, but it's just like, it's weird, I don't like it. But,
no, I don't like it either. That's not a dumb and small criticism. I get where you're coming from. It's just not original or creative.
Yeah.
It's
just like the most standard thing you can get to make a song feel upbeat. And this song doesn't even really feel that upbeat. It sort of feels a bit out of place. But for Recent Faint, I think that the 2 drops in the song are really pretty outstanding for his recent style.
Maybe maybe the second drop. I'm not sure if I can agree with that about the first drop. The second drop I actually think is pretty good and definitely one of the best bits of the song. But I can't say the same for the first drop.
But looking at his discography, shit, that's a weird word, isn't it? Discography as a whole, these drops aren't that special, but contrasting his recent stuff, they're great.
Yeah. But I like the main bit in the, like, one of the, because I feel like this drop pretty much has like 2 main sounds.
It does.
Has the deeper, lowered synth and the higher one that's pretty much the melody. The low one, the deep one, that shit's cool. But the higher one is just like, hey, housey D&B melody.
Yeah, it's sort of for the first half, it has a really bass-driven, like wobbly bass thing, which I really like. This is for both drops because both drops are very similar. Only the second drop has the bass and beat a little bit faster, but the first probably third or so of each drop is very bass-driven. It does remind me a little bit of his older days with the Fury and the Snake Eyes, though not as good and not to that level. It still does have that sound to it, which I really like. It has the wobbly bass, it has an okay beat, but then it sort of goes into the last third, I'd say, of the drop, which is just housey D&B 101. It's just this pretty. It's a fine melody. It's okay, but it's repeated too much, and the beat isn't too very good, and there isn't enough backing to hold it together. And that goes for both the drops. And another issue with it is it's a pity that there are vocals over the drop, because that's something I really never like.
Yeah,
unless the vocals are
well.
100% outstanding. Like a couple songs, I don't
or
like
if
them
they're
over the drop.
supposed to be the center.
Like Skyline, it works in. Skyline, it works really well. And it's not that bad in this song because the vocals aren't that intrusive. But there are songs where like there's a full verse over the drop, and I'm like, no, the drop is the instrumental part of the song. It's the dedicated instrumental part, and when you ruin that, your name's Hellberg. But...
unless it's Chokehold, because that song, that verse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. There are, of course, there's exceptions, but
yeah.
Well, Chokehold works because the feel of the drop and the vocals are like the exact same.
Together.
Yeah, they mesh really well. But yeah, both drops, they have the heavy, drivey parts, which are great, and the more melodic, housey parts of the second drop, which I don't like as much. The bass-driven parts are way better. They, like I said, they remind me of Snake Eyes or whatever. And so like we were talking about earlier, the second drop, I do think it's better.
I like the second drop. And considering I don't like this song very much, that's saying something. The second drop is really good.
Well, it's very similar to first, only the bass is a lot, not way faster, but it's more wobbly, and the beat is a bit faster, and that's good. Those bass-driven bits, they sort of hold the song together for me, because without that level of driviness that they bring, I really don't think I'd like the song very much. But
it's really weird. I know this is this is a comparison that's just kind of popped up when I was listening to it today. The bassy thing in the second drop, it actually sounds like, just a bit deeper, the bit in the second drop of Warhead. You know, where it goes like, it has the dun 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 in like the second part of the second drop. It sounds actually scarily similar to that. Like,
I haven't even
don't bother looking for it now, but
yeah,
it's just
I will
really
later.
cool. It's just really cool. Yeah, check that out. It's weird.
Yeah, but basically with this song, I actually pretty much like everything except for the housey D&B bits, like at the end of each drop.
Is really good. The ending.
Yeah, the ending's nice. It has that vocal chop,
awesome.
which is there, and it's good.
It's like all instrumental. Like, it's all about the strings and guitar and all that stuff. And it's like
I
40
definitely
seconds long
think,
as well.
yeah, I definitely think my favorite bit of the song is the breakdown between each drops is great. The vocals work really well with the really good beat, and the instrumentals, the guitar and the strings are really nice. And the bass-driven bits of the drop they're my three favorite bits of the song, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like the ending. The ending's
good. Ending's good, and the intro's nice. That'll you got for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The song,
All right.
It's not terrible, but you know, Fane can do better.
Yeah, he definitely
Don't
can.
like it.
No doubt about it.
Not very much.
So the last track we're going to talk about today is "Sweat" by Karma Fields. And I'm going to start off by saying Karma Fields, I respect him a lot as an artist. He's definitely probably I'd say he's the most experimental artist on the label by a long shot. He's definitely, I respect him so much for he's always trying something new.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't always work out, I definitely respect
Even if people are wrong and all the songs that people don't like are good songs. Like, what's that one called? Stick Up? That song's good. I don't care what anyone
Stick Up's
says.
actually really cool. Like the vocals weird, but the drop, awesome. Really,
I just don't
really
understand.
cool.
People hate on all the wrong stuff, and like compared to what I like. I don't understand. Everyone's hating on Stick Up and all that stuff, and everyone when I'm looking at and I'm reviewing these Project
And
46
Psycho.
songs, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, oh this song's cool. Always gets me pumped," and I'm like, "Why? Why is this? Why is this okay?" But
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm still mad at Project 46. I'm salty.
Yeah, but Karma Fields, he's or they, I'm not quite sure. I think it's multiple people. They have done some really cool stuff. Like I think I've said before, Skyline is in my top 5 Monstercat tracks. Skyline Acoustic is also incredible. What else? What else is good? Shit, what's it called? Faint Echoes is one of the most insane songs on the label. I know you like that. I love it. It's so good.
It's like one of my top 30 songs, man. I love it.
Fixed is really cool.
Fixed is For Me is great.
For Me is also that's really good.
Also very good.
And yeah, I think even the songs that I don't love, like
A
Build
Bright
the
But
Cities.
Distant Future isn't
yeah,
great either.
A Bright But Distant Future. There's still a lot of variation what he does in what they do, and there's quite a lot of experimentation, which I just really I respect, and that's pretty much how I feel about this song. I love how this song is trying something new, and it does what it's trying to do really well, I reckon.
I definitely don't think it follows the standard EDM song.
Oh, definitely not.
Which
It's
I like.
sort of
I like.
it's very much
normally
its
with
own
most of these
thing.
songs, I have it marked like intro, first drop, midsection. I just actually had trouble identifying all the different bits. So I've just got for my notes. I've just got intro written at the top. I'm just like, you know what? It's gonna all just fit under one thing. I don't need to.
This song, it makes me think of Flume a lot. It's definitely got a Flume vibe, I feel. It in the main melody, which is basically the entire song, is this melody.
Yeah.
That is very, very Flumey to me. Even though it's not labeled as future based, I don't think this is a future based song because the beats and everything is very non-future based. That melody definitely sounds a lot like future bass in its key. And the way it's paced, it's really cool how it starts off slow and then speeds up and then resets itself. The only issue with it being that that melody is basically, even though it does change little bits, like gets higher and lower, it's basically in the entire song.
Haven't even mentioned the fucking badass fucking tribal intro, which is just.
Like... Oh no, yeah. We'll get there.
What do you mean we'll get there? You say that like I've taken the song in order. You're already talking about the melody, which comes in later.
Oh yeah, I know. I wasn't taking an order. I was just thinking on the spot. But yeah, the intro, probably the best part of the song. It's very atmospheric, and it's so cool. It has the sounds of like a train and trucks and rain. It's really sort of, it makes me think of something industrial. It's really cool.
It feels
and
really
it's
tribal to me.
Well, I reckon that's the vocal chop that you're thinking about, because the vocal chop has that. It makes me think of like,
but also the drums sound like fucking so much like an African. This whole thing just sounds like an African tribe. Like, maybe ritual dance isn't the right word, but you know the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The African tribal dance kind of thing. It sounds so much like that, and it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It has a really cool theme. The chanting. It actually makes me think of. I don't know why. It makes me think of the one time I went to a soccer game, like 5 years ago. There was a whole bunch of dudes on the train yelling, about soccer, and that made me think of that a lot. And I love how that's it was a very traumatic experience. I had to do sport, okay. But the that train thing I mentioned, it starts off sounding like a train, but as it gets faster and gets faster, it almost turns into like a beat for the intro, and that is so cool. Such an inventive way to use a sound effect. And I reckon
it pretty much does turn into the tribal beat that I was talking about. It starts off like it's starting up, and then it gets faster and
getting
turns
faster,
into that beat.
faster. It's so, that's just so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest issue definitely is that flumy, future bassy melody just being there for the entire song.
Yeah.
It does change, like in the second drop, it gets higher pitched and drops to lower pitched.
The thing is, the sounds, the different sounds that are used to make that melody, they do change, but the melody is still pretty much the same.
Exactly. It's a really, really damn awesome melody. It's so cool.
It is for a bit.
It is sort of there for like at least 4.5 minutes with with not particularly significant changes. And if I can mention one thing, I think this song might have the best visualizer yet for
I haven't
a video.
seen it.
It's really, really cool. It's like the entire intro and everything is like really blurry and
even cooler than Amon. Cause that's
yeah. Cool. Well, the best of the Karma Fields ones.
Right, yeah.
And it's like really blurry and stuff, and then the drop comes, and it's just like 100% clarity. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But basically, what makes the song for me, what makes me like it more than I thought I would, considering how repetitive it is, it's basically everything that happens around this main melody. It sort of makes me think of. I'm gonna give another one of my generally terrible analogies. It makes you think of someone sitting in the middle of a really crowded space, not moving at all, but like everything else around them is like constantly fluid and constantly moving. Like there's this one big part of what's going on which just isn't changing at all, but there's all these little individual things around that which are changing.
Yeah.
There are little, like there's one thing in this song which I think is what makes me like it the most is, have you heard the little bass guitar thing which comes in every so often?
Maybe
behind the melody, it's like a boom 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 behind the melody. It comes in probably once every 30 seconds. It's it's very satisfying to listen to. But there's a lot of little bits and pieces that come in and out, which I like.
I don't understand why this song has a breaks beat. It doesn't.
Oh,
it does, yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my criticisms. It just doesn't feel like it fits. That's why it just feels strange. It just.
I feel like it works.
Blends with the song very well, which is one of my other criticisms.
I sort of feel like that's one of the points of this song, though. It's not meant to blend. I think it's meant to sound a little off. Definitely in the same way Flume does. His music always sounds a little off. Especially with tracks like Wall Fuck and Helix and I don't know Skin well enough. I'll have to listen to it again, but it definitely has that feel to me, and I love Flume, so I love Flume when he doesn't have vocals at least. And this song sort of encompasses that, just not with as much complexity, which is a bit of a pity. But
Right. My favorite bit of this song, one of my favorite bits, is around like 2:37, where the melody slows right down, and then it just fucking goes like, boom. It's fucking. Do you know the bit I'm talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
is that once it goes out
it's
of
like
the is that
right
once it,
in the middle of the song?
that's when it goes into the breakdown, right, between the two drops.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because there's sort of this part which like cools down before towards the middle, and it gets all blurry again in the video, and then it snaps back into clarity, again when the melody comes back in its fullness. But I think I know what you're talking about, and that is really cool. But as a whole, there isn't that much to say on this song. It's sort of just a melody with a couple of cool things that happen around it, and a really good intro and a really good breakdown. But besides that, it's sort of not that much happens, and so I'm still not really sure if I really like this song. I think but I definitely think it's cool, and I think it's inventive, and I respect it for trying something new. But yeah, you got anything else to say on it?
I feel pretty similarly. Like, this song is really unique and has atmosphere aplenty, but I feel like its repetition just hurts it a little bit, as it's just unable to let go of this one melody. Like, one of the things is, I just feel like it could have been so much more if they had all this other shit
it probably
going
could have.
on. And it is good, don't get me wrong, it's just... I mean, of course there's always potential for it to be something better, with, like, all music, but I still feel like it could have been pretty easy to make this song more interesting. But I just love the atmosphere. That's why I can't hate it. It's just because it has such a nice
great.
atmosphere.
It's really cool.
But
yeah,
I'm so on the fence about this song, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I it's gonna be a while before I probably make up my mind about this, I think. But
let's not ignore the fact that this song has 2 remixes with it as well, which are both really cool.
Yeah, they're both
on
really,
the
really
single
cool.
thing as well. So if you haven't heard those,
check them out.
Go and check them out.
But so I think that's about all we have for the tracks. I'll just briefly mention. I won't say anything spoilery because I know Pete still hasn't listened to it, and I don't want to give away anything.
Because it's not actually out.
Because it's not actually out yet. But I just quickly like to mention that on the podcast, which I uploaded to the channel I think 2 days ago, there was the variants preview. Not preview. It was basically the full album of My Prayers Have Become Ghosts EP.
Where's that news story? Delete that.
Where he had his like little voiceover discussing at the start of each song. And I would probably recommend, if you haven't heard it, to wait until the full album comes out and listen to the full album before you listen to the one with the commentary, because the commentary does sort of cover a good third of the songs, so you don't really hear many of the intros. But that being said, one thing, the commentary was really good. I doubt Varian is ever going to listen to this, but if you do, it was very personal, what you said, and I feel like it adds a lot of meaning to the album, and I feel like it was pretty impressive that you said the things that you said about yourself on that in front of potentially millions of people.
Did he come out of the closet?
He did not. But
I'm joking. Don't worry. Now I'm just scared that Varian's going to listen to this, even though it's never going to happen.
No, if you are, I love you, and you're one of the most talented musicians I've ever heard. But I just think, and you added so much context, and you added so much meaning to the album, which already would have had a lot of context and meaning just from the amount of atmosphere you built it in it. But I just think that's really great what you did. But if you haven't listened to any of the album yet, probably wait until Monday for the full thing to come out. Just because he does talk over quite a fair bit of it. And the actual album itself is maybe the best piece of music ever released on Monstercat. I know that's a broad statement, but it's so goddamn incredible.
If it's
There
on the same
isn't.
level of quality as the song My Prayers Have Become Ghosts, then it is quite possibly, like, going to be my favourite thing on Monstercat.
It's
Gonna have to
probably
do a
like
lot to derail Space Cadet, but we'll see. I think
I
you can do it.
like most of the songs on it more than I like My Prayers Have Become Ghosts, and I love My Prayers Have Become Ghosts. The song The Pink Killing Floor, wow, one of the most inventive changes I've ever heard. I'll just say that. The intro song, incredible atmosphere, bit cheesy, but nonetheless really really cool. Outro, that was not what I was expecting, and I really like that. If you listen to his discussion talking about his music, I feel like the what's it called, the third one, the one I don't know, the third one about I don't want to say anything about the orange pill, right? That fit what he was talking about perfectly in the sort of clarity that the song had. I just and when we what's it called, when we wake, dawn will bring us death. Incredible, probably the heaviest song I've heard him release in years. Probably one of the best songs I've heard him release in years, and I just think it's an outstanding piece of music. I think it might even be better than the Ancient and Arcane, um, and it might take up my favorite album release on the label. Probably not my favorite album ever released, just because there's some really special stuff out there, which none of it's on Monstercat, but it means a lot to me just through nostalgia and other stuff. But it's incredible, and Pete, I can't imagine you feeling any less than just loving it.
No,
I don't.
I'm very excited. You don't even know.
It's very very well done. The atmosphere is perfect, and I think Varian kicked it out of the park. Hit it out of the park. I kicked it out of I don't know. All right, but he nailed it. But we should, because
I'm not sure since I haven't heard it yet, but I feel like this could be one of those albums. Like most of the time when I want to listen to it, I just want to listen to it as a full thing. Because I feel that way about a lot of album songs. I'm like, yeah, I like the song a lot, but if I'm going to listen to it, I want to listen to the whole album. And I'm hoping it's one of those, because I always love albums like that. Like, especially since I've gotten into more Spotify stuff and finding albums and whatnot, that's just one of my favourite ways to listen to music, is like a good, like, full album that just all works together and you can just listen to everything song after song. I love that shit so much. And if this EP can be one of those, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of world building and atmosphere. But we're running out of time. I've only got maybe a little more than 10 minutes left, so we should get into the news real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Pete, but what do we got this week? I know we got a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 stories, would have been 11, but I was going to talk about the podcast thing, and there you go.
That's alright.
Number 1, Coven posts a Facebook video that teases that something will be coming on 11/11/16, aka the 11th of November. Pretty sure it'll be a song, just because it has, a song in the background of the video that I've not heard before. So it's probably just a song teaser. Not sure if it's going to be
dangerously close to 9/11. Dangerously close. But, so new Coven?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What else we got?
Muzzy posts on Twitter, 3 down, 1 to go, nearly there, which seems to be suggesting that he may be working on an EP. If this is the case, then he's finished 3 of the tracks and only has 1 to go, which would make it a 4-track EP. I hope it's...
And I would love that, because, I mean, he released a 4-track EP very recently, but if he's gonna do more, I ain't mad.
Yeah.
Because he is incredible.
I mean... I was talking to Xavier like ages ago about that last EP and stuff like that, and Xavier theorizes, and I honestly think he might be right, that what was that Muzzy song on the 10-year anniversary, 5-year anniversary?
Oh, Crescendo.
Yeah, Crescendo. He thinks that song was probably gonna be on the EP, but then he saved that for the 5-year anniversary, which I reckon that's completely true. It sounds like it could fit on there really well.
Yeah. I'm happy it's not. Because it's not very good.
Yeah, not a
Sorry,
good song.
Muzzy.
Sorry.
I know lots of people like it, but it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
Right, next segment. Sorry, not next segment. Next news.
Just let me run my news, mate. Snails and Dion Timmer have a collab coming in the future. Not sure if Monstercat or not.
Well, I love Snails, and Dion Timmer can be weird, but most of his music is shithouse. So I just really hope Snails takes the reins on
Not
the
shit
song.
house. He doesn't make shit
No.
house. But he makes bad
Shit house,
music.
not house. Shit house,
Alright.
dubstep.
The next thing, I barely even know what's happening with all of this, but there's been some stuff about the number 1989 and all this big conspiracy thing that I've not been paying attention to, which has something to do with some artist called DROELOE coming onto Monstercat. I don't understand how it all fits together. I haven't been paying enough attention. But if you want to go and look into how all that works, just go on Reddit for like the past week, because damn, there was a lot of stuff going on about that. I have no idea what's going on, but it's another new artist. Really?
Yeah, well, we'll be talking a bit more about DROELOE in the coming future. But, go boy. Tell me.
Queen of Your Heart t-shirt is available in the Monstercat store. It looks really cool. That's why I bring it up. It looks really nice.
Ooh, I might consider that one.
Check that
I definitely want to get the Feege t-shirt, the one where he's sitting in the in his like attic or something. It's like that's a really cool t-shirt. But yeah.
Here's an actual really exciting, cool sounding piece of news. One of the songs from the variant EP, Teva 833, will be getting a music video. Hopefully I can actually...
Ooh, that's the song which has the... That's the name of the one with the orange pill that I was talking about. It's a good one. It's very cool.
Yeah. So...
a music video would work well for it.
Pixel releases a song outside of Monstercat called Spaced Out that everyone needs to go and check out because it's really, really good.
Yeah, I'll put that in the description. It's his future house sort of deal. But it's got a more of a deep house feel.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very, very good.
Slushy tweets about a new EP. I don't really give a shit, but you know, it's news. Some people want to hear about 6 Slushy beats. Black Tiger Sex Machine working with Muzzy on
What?
some DMB, which sounds cool.
Please. Black Tiger Sex Machine are cool. What was the name of the Pixel song, by the way?
Spaced Out.
Spaced Out. Alright.
And the last piece of news, because we're getting through this pretty quick, Slips and Slurs said he is working on a house track. Not sure what kind of house, but house could entail a lot of things. So that's either a good thing,
hopefully bass house,
or a really bad
But bass
thing.
house is an electro genre, so
yeah.
But yeah, he's good.
So that concludes the news for this week.
Alright, in the last couple minutes of the podcast today, we are going to do Track of the Day. This is the segment where I look up an album on a random number generator of one of the Monstercat albums, and Peter looks up one of the songs, rng.com. What do we got? Random.org. Between the albums 1 and 28, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? Let's not get another early album.
I know.
Oh, for God's sake!
What?
Album 1.
No!
Alright, what track are we getting? I know my album 1 shit well because I just reviewed that one.
Hang on. Oh yeah, I've got to set the numbers from 1
It's
to
15.
7.
Oh, it's 7. Jeez, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. What track is that?
If it's the Neelio one. We'll do another one after this because I've already reviewed all these ones.
I'm sick of getting bloody early tracks. Is it a good one? Load. Oh my god. Hurry up.
Is there a good one on one?
Dubstep killed rock and roll. Great.
Yeah, it's alright.
Please, something else, please.
It's dubstep, it's fine, it's meh. Alright, 1 to 28, what do we got?
Let's try it.
Album 23.
There we go. That's something
We've got a 1 in 4 chance it's going to be future-based, boys.
Alright. What track's that? It's do 3. And there. And it is Final Boss by Nitro Fun. Not future bass. Not future
One
bass.
of his best tracks.
I thought you didn't like it very much.
Well,
It
I
is
don't,
awesome.
but it's still one of his best tracks.
Nah, it's fucking... I love it.
It's
It is
good
such
for
an
Nitro
awesome
Fun.
song.
Most of the time, I'm not a massive fan of Nitro Fun's 8-bit style. And
It's just
decent.
so dramatic
It
and
It
got so
is.
much
The drop
drive
is
to it.
It's much more complex than most of Nitro Fun, which is something I can
Yeah,
behind.
and it's electro, and it does have it later, which is fine. But especially at the start of the drop, it doesn't even have the electro beat. It has a beat which like follows what's actually happening in the drop completely, which is so
it's
cool.
sort of like breaks.
And I love the two parts. The two parts it has as well. It's got the bit at the start, which is mostly based off the one sound, but then the second half of the drop is so dramatic and cool, and I love it. And honestly, the best bit about this song, that bit in the middle, where it's just all guitar and fucking all that shit after the first drop, is so out of place, but so fucking awesome. I really like this song.
Yeah.
The two drops are too
very
similar.
good.
That's the biggest problem.
It's very good.
I never listened to the full song.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Nitro Fun song that I really love, but this is definitely one of his best ones. The list of ones I like from him, this Dragonfly is really good.
Not as into that one.
Was it Safe and Sound? Was that the one he made?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Safe and Sound. I didn't like it, then I listened to it once, and I was like, oh my god, this drop has a killer bass line, and now I really like that. Soldiers is decent. Cheat Codes is pretty good. But as a whole, I just can't 100% get behind his 8-bit style. And though I do like it for other artists like Tokyo Machine, I feel like his music contrasts a bit more and gives him a bit more personality. Nitro Fun has heaps of personality, but I feel like his music is all that sound, which it's just a bit much for me. But I still definitely think he's a cool artist, and I still definitely think he's a good artist.
I really like him.
Yeah. But
hasn't done too much recently.
No, he really hasn't.
He's only made the
collab
song? With Hyper Potions. That's pretty much.
That was decent. No, he had Come With Me, didn't he?
That was last year.
Yeah.
That was on 25.
Come With Me is really good. That's a very good song,
he was part of Break the Silence as well, but that's like 5 million artists.
I don't like Break the Silence.
I do,
but,
surprisingly.
Alright, so now we're going to go and do the last segment of the podcast. Very quickly, the non-Monstercat track of the day. This is the section where Pete and I, because there's no one else to do it, will recommend a track or 4-track EP or under that we found probably on Spotify, just because we listen to a lot of the Spotify Discover Weekly stuff, so we find a lot of music. And
you can go first.
We'll tell you to check them out, listen to them, let us know in the comments whether you like them or not, that sort of thing. I am going to talk about, last week, I got a comment from, I'm trying to remember who it was, I think it was Andrew, one of the commenters on the videos, who, by the way, I'm really sorry, you left this massive comment that was like 1,000 words. I tried responding to it, I wrote like 500 words, and then I clicked on one of your SoundCloud links and completely lost the entire comment, and so I just responded with like 100-word comment, which I don't. Thank you for that anyone who leaves massive comments, like, that's awesome. And you should probably go submit them to your English teacher or something, because they're friggin' great.
That's not how it works.
But last week in your comment, you told me to check out 2 tracks, and one of them was Wake the Warrior by.
Oh, that's how you found out about it.
What's his name? DROELOE, whatever his name is.
No idea.
It's a track by him. It's a trap song, and I pretty much fell in love with it the second I first heard it. It's not as conventionally structured as most trap. It doesn't have as much of a defined drop because it doesn't have a build-up and the bass sort of just kicks in and then you're in the drop and you sort of wouldn't notice it because it's not a really in-your-face trap song. But it's such a really cool atmosphere and it's got some... I'm trying to remember I think it had like Asian influences and stuff. I just remember it's great. Please check it out. Wake the Warrior by DROELOE or something. And thanks, Andrew, for letting me know about that track, because I reckon it's one of the best.
Can't even find his own music. Jesus Christ. podcast.
Yes, I'm a scum.
Alright, is it my turn?
Yes, go ahead.
No, it's Xavier's turn. Go, Xavier. Oh, it's alright. He's just being as quiet as usual.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Exactly.
Alright, so I'm going to recommend a song by an artist that I found, that I heard their music, I fucking fell in love with it because it's my shit, and much like Mika recommending a song that I didn't think was all that
I think I know
great,
what you're talking about.
I'm going to recommend a song that I don't think Mika finds that great. It's by these guys called the Noisy Freaks, who are like televisor instrumentals, which is like the best part of televisor turned up to the next level. So they're basically what I wish televisor was, but televisor's not. And it's a song called Freaks Orchestra, which is very much got that kind of old-fashioned. It's a lot of their music follows the kind of funky like 80s kind of stuff. This one isn't even that. This one's more kind of old. It's kind of the thing you'd expect to hear in the more older side of what's that genre called? Electro swing kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as jazzy. It's more towards the side of like, it sounds like, you know, I'd say like 1850s kind of music kind of thing. A lot of strings and a lot of that kind of stuff. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's very instrumental. So if you're not into that, don't really check it out. But if that sounds like a good thing, go and listen to it.
Does it have vocals? Does it have the horrific vocals?
No, it doesn't.
Good.
Only
the
like
instrumentals
of this album that I like, called like, what's it called? Straight Life by these guys. There's one song that's like covered in those vocals, but apart from that, most of them don't really have those vocals, and this one definitely doesn't. I remember when we listened to this together, you said you liked this one, so
yeah.
Check it out again.
The instrumentals are generally pretty good. It's just they occasionally have those Daft Punk style auto-tune vocals, which are probably the worst thing in any music to me.
Don't worry, this song has none of that.
Good, because
nowhere to be found.
Sort of, if you want a comparison on Monstercat, it's The Pressure by Televisor has them.
I like this song.
They make me want.
It has it in like it has it like one little bit at the start, but it's not like actual vocals. It's more just like a little vocal chop, but most of it is absent from that, and I think people will like it anyway. So
I remember it being a pretty good song. What are the artists called again? The
Noisy Freaks.
The Noisy Freaks, not the Crazy Freaks.
Much like Daft Punk, they are also French dudes.
Much like Daft Punk, they're not that good.
They are fucking
joking.
Awesome.
They've made actually some really good electro house stuff, like
that stuff was alright.
God's Calling. Awesome.
Yeah, that stuff was alright. Not really what I listened to them for, though.
That song's really good. But, I think that brings this episode of This Week in Monstercat to an end. Thank you, Pete, for coming on with me. I'm gonna unironically thank you this time. Sorry, guys, this was a bit shorter. I was on quite a time constraint.
It wasn't really. We're at 53 minutes right now. The first few episodes barely reached, like, 45 minutes, so...
Oh, well, yeah.
It wasn't too bad in length.
Yeah. And sorry, there's only two people. It just sort of
that's
work out the way it should have.
Alright, don't worry. Maybe Jake just quit after all the shit we gave him last week.
Yeah, he probably did actually.
No.
But yeah, we're gonna please let us know in the comments how you feel about each of those tracks. I promise I'll respond to them because I love responding to comments. It's my favorite bit of the whole channel. And
really, wow.
Well. Yeah, the community feel is just, it's great. I love all you guys that comment. It's really good. I love all you guys that just watch anyways. Whatever you do, it's awesome. Thank you for watching. And...
Also, but keep your eyes out for, I reckon my Project 46 EP review video will be out soon enough at this rate. Now that I never have to listen to any of the music again. It's all editing now, which will be alright.
Yeah, they're just, so bad.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Pete, for coming on.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel about all the tracks in the comments. Suggest tracks that we could listen to, like Andrew did last week. And we'll see you next week.